The 20th century was a time of great change. It was a century of war and peace, of progress and destruction. We saw the rise of new ideologies like communism and fascism. These ideas promised a better future but also led to conflict and suffering. The 20th century was a time of extremes. The century began with a sense of optimism. Many people believed that science and technology could solve the world's problems. New inventions like the automobile and the airplane were changing the way people lived. But this optimism was shattered by the outbreak of World War I. World War I was a global conflict that devastated Europe. Millions of people died in the trenches. The war ended in 1918, but it left the world a much different place. The old empires of Europe were crumbling and new ideologies were emerging. The 20th century was a time of great upheaval, but it was also a time of great progress. We saw the rise of democracy and human rights. We also saw incredible advances in science and technology. World War II began in 1939 when Nazi Germany invaded Poland. This act of aggression plunged the world into another global conflict. The war was even more destructive than the first, with an estimated 40 to 85 million fatalities. World War II saw the horrors of the Holocaust. Nazi Germany, driven by a racist ideology, systematically murdered millions of Jews and other minorities. The Holocaust stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of hatred and intolerance. The use of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 marked a turning point in human history. The devastating power of these weapons ushered in the nuclear age, a period defined by the constant threat of global annihilation. The war ended in 1945 with the defeat of the Axis powers. It led to the emergence of two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. These two nations would engage in a decades-long ideological struggle known as the Cold War. The end of World War II brought about a new world order. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, each with their own sphere of influence. This division led to the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension and rivalry between the two blocs. The Cold War was characterized by an arms race with both sides amassing vast nuclear arsenals. Proxy wars were fought in Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan as the superpowers vied for influence. Fear of nuclear war cast a shadow over the world. Despite the tensions, the Cold War also saw periods of détente. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 brought the world to the brink of nuclear war, but it also led to improved communication and a partial test ban treaty. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 symbolized the end of the Cold War. It marked the beginning of a new era, one characterized by the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe and the rise of globalization. The 20th century witnessed significant strides in the fight for equality. The civil rights movement in the United States challenged racial segregation and discrimination against African Americans. Figures like Martin Luther King Jr. emerged as powerful advocates for social justice. The women's rights movement gained momentum, advocating for equal rights and opportunities for women. Women fought for the right to vote, equal pay, and reproductive rights. The feminist movement challenged traditional gender roles and expectations. The struggle for LGBTQ+ rights also gained traction in the latter half of the century. People began to demand recognition and acceptance for different sexual orientations and gender identities. The Stonewall riots in 1969 marked a pivotal moment in the fight for LGBTQ+ rights. These movements, while facing resistance and setbacks, made significant progress in advancing equality and human rights. They left a legacy that continues to inspire activism and social change in the 21st century. Section 5. Reaching for the Stars. The 20th century witnessed unprecedented advancements in science and technology, particularly in space exploration. The Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, in 1957, marking the beginning of the space race. The United States responded with the establishment of NASA and the Apollo program. In 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first human to walk on the moon, a momentous achievement that captured the world's imagination. Space exploration continued to advance with the development of the Space Shuttle program and the International Space Station. These endeavors expanded our understanding of the universe and inspired generations of scientists and engineers. Beyond space exploration, the 20th century saw groundbreaking discoveries in medicine, physics, and computer science. These advancements led to new treatments for diseases, a deeper understanding of the fundamental laws of nature, and the digital revolution. Section 6. The Digital Revolution. The latter half of the 20th century witnessed the dawn of the digital revolution, a technological transformation that profoundly impacted society. The invention of the transistor in 1947 paved the way for the development of smaller, more powerful computers. The personal computer revolutionized the way people worked, communicated, and accessed information. The internet, initially developed as a research tool, connected people and information like never before. It fostered global communication and collaboration. The digital revolution led to the rise of social media, e-commerce, and a host of other online services. It transformed the way we consume news, entertainment, and interact with the world around us. While the digital revolution brought about numerous benefits, it also raised concerns about privacy, cybersecurity, and the spread of misinformation. These challenges continue to shape the digital landscape in the 21st century. Section 7. Globalization and its discontents. The late 20th century witnessed the acceleration of globalization, driven by advances in communication, transportation, and the increasing interconnectedness of economies. Globalization led to the freer flow of goods, services, capital, and people across borders. Globalization brought about economic growth and opportunities for many. It facilitated the rise of multinational corporations and global supply chains. However, it also contributed to income inequality, job displacement, and environmental degradation. The benefits and drawbacks of globalization fueled political debates and social movements. Some argued that globalization eroded national sovereignty and cultural identity. Others maintained that it fostered cooperation and understanding between different cultures. The debate over globalization continues to this day, shaping economic policies, international relations, and the way we think about our interconnected world. Section 8. The Legacy of the 20th Century. The 20th century left an indelible mark on human history. It was a century of profound change, marked by both remarkable progress and devastating conflicts. The legacies of the 20th century continue to shape our world today. The two world wars taught us the devastating costs of conflict and the importance of international cooperation. The Holocaust stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of hatred and intolerance, reminding us to never forget the past. The civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, and the fight for LGBTQ+ rights demonstrated the power of social movements in challenging injustice and advancing equality. They left a legacy of activism and a belief in the possibility of positive social change. The technological advancements of the 20th century, from space exploration to the digital revolution, continue to shape our lives today. They highlight the power of human ingenuity and the potential for technological innovation to address global challenges. Section 9. Shaping the Future. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, the lessons of the 20th century remain as relevant as ever. The challenges of climate change, global inequality, and technological disruption require international cooperation, innovation, and a commitment to social justice. The 20th century taught us the importance of learning from history, both its triumphs and its tragedies. By understanding the forces that shape the past, we can better navigate the present and shape a more just and sustainable future. The interconnectedness of our world requires us to embrace diversity, promote dialogue, and work together to address global challenges. The legacy of the 20th century reminds us that we have the power to shape a better future for all.